Good evening, and welcome back to the Placid Plastic Podcast. I am Whiskey's editor, Lucas, and I'm here with David.
Good evening, everyone.
And, how you been?
I've been good. You know, last time we were kind of talking about the Ninja Gaiden series, and that got me into just wanted to discuss more about games and, games we grew up with. But I've been good. And, I'm curious, I guess, a good first topic to kick this off. We grew up with a lot of games, and was there ever a game that you were excited for that, you can't wait, I can't wait to get my hands on this game, and it finally comes out and you're so hyped, you start playing the game, you play it for a few hours, maybe you even beat it, and you're like, wow, that sucked, or wow, that was not what I thought it would be, it's terrible. Has that ever happened to you?
This is gonna get me crucified, and
Oh
no, the flamingo reset.
It did?
It did.
I want a refund.
That's absolute bollocks, dude.
I want a refund. I'm refunding this game.
Oh man, I'm actually really disappointed about that. I mean, I guess
the audience,
that's why this is in beta.
For the audience at home, the longer you're in a map, the closer the flamingo gets to the pool. And eventually it will fall into the pool, and it's this big hype moment. I believe even I'm pretty sure the other floaty with the palm tree, I'm pretty sure that can pop, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I got the flamingo in one thing, and I have a little clip of it recorded that I was going to put at the end of one of my other videos, because I had one of the viewers wanted me to show that, and I wasn't able to find a place for it, and I had also forgotten it, even though I did it right after I think the Dungeons and Ducklings video. But I have that clip, so maybe I'll throw it in at the end of the last recording, because that's sucks.
Unfortunate. That's tragic. That's tragic, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a bit upsetting.
So anyway. Go back to you're getting ready to get crucified by the audience.
Yes, because I had that very experience with Fallout New Vegas.
Ooh.
And I know it's one of the most beloved Fallout games of the original id Software Fallout players and Bethesda Fallout players. The id Software ones being like the 2D ones that are, in my opinion, unplayable, but
you're really gonna get them angry.
Well, I started with Fallout 3, so you can see that my expectations for it were, whoa, we getting a toxic pool here? What is this?
Whoa.
Are not it's a dirty duck.
I just noticed that. It kind of lagged for me for a second. That's crazy. Well, now it's a squeaky clean duck, I guess.
I guess so.
Is that supposed to be? Looks kind of like Shrek.
Oh no, I think it's supposed to be like a wood carved mallard. Like green head, but it seems a little weird.
Why was it so dirty?
I have no idea.
Oh man, that was crazy. But yeah, so
yes,
you don't like New Vegas,
so yes.
You don't like Fallout 1 and 2, and now the entire community is gonna dox you and come to your house late at night.
Well, that's why I use. Just kidding, I'm not sponsored. So
I'm not gonna tell them. Oh no.
Anyway, yeah. So I played Fallout New Vegas, and I was looking for some confirmation bias once, and I was looking at like why am I the only one who doesn't like this game? And I found this ironic, I think it was Rock, Paper, Shotgun, and it just kind of pissed me off because they were essentially being very, very sarcastic about all the reasons you shouldn't like Fallout New Vegas. And some of them I was like, oh yeah, some of these are good reasons. They're saying it in a weird way that makes it not nearly as good as a reason. And then there were some things like, that's a bad reason. Like, why did they say that? And yeah, then I got to the bottom and I was like, this was just a joke. No wonder it was a bad list. Anyway, yeah, so when I first played Fallout New Vegas, I was like, okay, I loved Fallout 3. It was just a fun game. I also played it as a kid, so I didn't have high standards for anything. And so I was looking forward to it. I was like, hell yeah, Vegas is such a lively place. right? How could it be? It says in the beginning, or at least on the box, that Vegas didn't get hit by the bombs, and so you know that it should be just that much more alive. It should be that much better of a location for
instead of a desolate wasteland everywhere you look.
Right? It'll be a lively wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it was not. It was a desert, and it was a dead desert. Like, there's so much empty land. So much. And I get it. It's a desert. But that also goes to the question, like, we're already in a wasteland, right? I thought this wasteland was going to be more lively, like there would be more to see because it wasn't bombed. And there's the other side of the mountain. So the map size, you can say, oh, it's a really big map, but so little of it is properly utilized, or at least utilized at all, because there's so much of that just unusable desert. And I mean, what do you do in a desert? You can't set up a settlement. There's no water. There's no workable soil. It's just sand and dead and sad. So I understand it. It makes sense, which makes me question, like, why did you pick more of the desert side of things and not more of the other side of things? Because there's the mountain range and then the western side of the mountain range, which is green and alive, and there's a settlement there, and you're like, oh, this is a nice area. I wish the rest of the map looked this nice. Anyway, that wasn't the sole reason.
I just want to point out real quick, the plaid duck is on fire.
Oh. Where? Is it in the low pool?
Right in the center of the main pool. He is on fire.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Did he get hit by the sparkler?
I think so. I didn't see him touch anything, but yeah. What happens when they're on fire? Do you know? Do they just...
I think they just burn until maybe the firefighter comes in and shoots them, but I guess we'd have to wait for that.
Well then, anyway, please continue.
Yeah, so I was mostly like, okay, it's a little empty in here, but whatever, right? And let me also mention that I did not have DLC the first time I played this. And if you think that the right way to play a game and the way to measure a game's quality is exclusively with its DLC, then that game's foundation is bad.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
That's not a hot take. If you make a bad game and you say, oh, here's DLC to save it, then you still made a bad game, but you made a good DLC. And I'll stand by that.
You know what? That's fair. But I feel like you're going to get some commenters that are like, well, actually.
Yeah, well, actually, shut up.
Actually, you're wrong and I'm right. So,
but now here's the thing. Let's not get me completely wrong here. I have played it again, and I enjoyed my second playthrough before it fell apart and crashed on me because the game is a poorly made game. And I don't mean poorly made as in it is a bad game at the crux of it all. It's a Bethesda game on an old ass engine that I played on a modern computer. It didn't work very well. Also, I modded it, but the mods were completely stable up to a certain point.
Bethesda games, I mean, you have to mod Bethesda games.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, like, you talk about what games are the best with mods, it's easily games like Skyrim and Fallout New Vegas and all those other Bethesda games.
Absolutely. And that's to say, like, I enjoyed Fallout 4, its base game. I played it on, what did I play it on? 360?
Well, wasn't Fallout 4 next gen?
Then I played it on PS4. I played it on PS4, and I had a great time before they added the mod support and the Creative Commons or whatever they call it.
Yeah, people did not like when Bethesda started charging people for mods. I think gosh, what did they call that in Skyrim? Like Creative Library?
The Creative
Workshop?
Creative Club, I think.
Yeah, the people were really upset about that, especially with Skyrim.
All right, and let me redeem myself real quick for this Fallout New Vegas thing. So I played this on, I think, the Xbox 360, and my overall experience was like, meh. I did a lot of the side quests. I didn't actually feel all that attached to the companions, but I didn't actually use companions that much in Fallout 3, I think because I was an idiot. I think I got dog meat, and I kept dog meat. And so, I mean, you can't replace dog meat. But in Fallout New Vegas, I think I started and I kept Boone. I think he's the sniper. And a lot of people really like him, and he was fine. Like, I did his quest, it was okay. I just didn't feel like, I don't know. It wasn't, I didn't feel great. And then I also did a slightly chaos run, right? I didn't even give Caesar's Legion a second thought. I was like, oh, look at these guys. They deserve to die. And I killed them on sight every single time. There was not a single point where I was like, I'm going to give them the time of day. And because of that, I also missed out on a large amount of story and interesting stuff, because Caesar or Kaisar, whatever you want to call him, has an interesting way of thinking. I don't think it's justified still. I think it's well written, but I think he's still flawed in his way of thinking. But overall, I just felt the game was a bit lacking in quantity. I didn't find myself doing enough, and I didn't find myself engaged enough the first time I played it. The second time, I tried going back to it a few times, then I never really enjoyed it, and I friggin' hated the ending.
Now, why did you hate the ending so much?
I hated the ending because, first of all, I hate open world games. If you end and you make it so I can't play anymore, then I'm just annoyed. Like, I don't get that. I don't like that. I understand that they had, restrictions as far as funding. Investors are always the worst thing in the world, but also absolutely necessary for a lot of these things to stay going. But forcing development to cease and to then release early before things are finished, like what happened with Cyberpunk. I get a lot of people like, they should have just delayed it till it was ready, but they can't reasonably do that sort of thing with investors in the background. Investors are the ones that push these things, that they want to see their money make more money. That's the whole point of them. And so they get too much control, and that keeps things from happening, but is also allows things to progress when they would otherwise fall stagnant. So in a lot of cases, it's a necessary evil. In this case, I felt it just made the game worse. And a lot of the cut content didn't make it back in on the DLC. So there's having a playable ending after you've beaten the game that actually changes the world for that ending is what I want. That's what I wanted to see. And I didn't get that. So I was incredibly disappointed. I didn't get to see the fruits of my labor. I got a slideshow with a narrator, and that was not good enough, in my opinion. I didn't think that was all right. I played it again, and before it crashed, of course, I was actually having a great time. There were one of the cities is burned down, and I was doing this when I was streaming, so the footage is all gone now because the archive time ran out. But the mod, I wish I could remember what city it was. One of the cities is burned down by the Legion, and you can only find a bunch of crucified, like, powder gangers and stuff. This mod made it so that you can rebuild the town, and I loved it. It was great. It was a little wonky, but it was really cool. And in general, like, quality of life things, like certain gun animations, certain, I think, models of things, I think I had updated. Of course, I had a texture update. There was a whole lot of things to make it just more of a playable experience for a game that looked, and based on its age, played poorly. Like, no sprinting. You can't give me a game nowadays that doesn't have sprinting. Sprinting is necessary. If you made me play Fallout 3 again, I'd be upset because you think me putting my gun away is good enough for a sprint? No, it's not.
You can mod sprinting in Fallout 3, right? Like, surely they have that.
Well, they had it in New Vegas, so I'm sure you could use probably the exact same mod for Fallout 3. Just switch go down to a more primitive version. I did enjoy the game in the long run, but at first I was very upsetty spaghetti by it.
There's somebody in the comments that is crying right now, and they're going to be typing up a long dissertation on why you are wrong and why you should stop this at once.
Sure. And they have the right to that opinion, and I have the right to tell them that they're wrong.
Now they're even crying harder. I can't believe you would say this.
But like I said, this was based off of my first experience playing the game. And
I think your submarine duck, by the way, is stuck behind a bush.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it died and came back because it like popped back into the like center of the pool and fell down.
Oh.
But I mean, like Fallout 4, a lot of people didn't like Fallout 4. If Fallout New Vegas had the settlement thing that Fallout 4 had, I would have absolutely played the shit out of it. I would have played so much. Up until I think, let me look at my library real quick on my most played games. Oh, this is my VR list. Let me switch out of that. Wait, this isn't my VR list. Oh, this is weird. Okay, installed locally. Not size. Hours played. You know what? Actually, Fallout 4 still is my most played game.
Where does Fallout 76 rank?
It's at 346 hours. I put, I think, over 720 hours. And I know these are amateur hours, haha, for a lot of people. But my highest, for Fallout 4, I put over 720 hours. I put a month's worth of hours into it on the PlayStation, and an additional 300 hours on PC.
I was about to say, I mean, if you compare PS4 and PC, you probably put quite a bit of time on that.
Exactly, yeah. So it's got 300 hours in Fallout 4 on my PC. So I've got over about 1,000 hours plus total for Fallout 4 in general. And Fallout 76 is about 3 times less. But yeah, I mean, wrong button. I'm not having the best time handling
navigating. Well, yeah. I guess I'll go ahead and say my piece. So I have a couple examples, and I'll give one from back then, and I'll give a more modern game that people have been. This one, actually, I'll start with the modern one. So this particular game, people had been hyping up to me like, David, you got to play this game. Like, it's really good. I know you like Shadow of the Colossus. It's like Shadow of the Colossus, and I really think you're gonna like it. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm pretty excited to play this, and I finally got this game, and I played about 5-6 hours, and I was like, I don't get why people like this. Like, why is this popular? And I kept playing, and I got about 10-12 hours in, and it never clicked for me. And that game was Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh. It's like Shadow of the Colossus. It's nothing like Shadow of the Colossus.
That's what people were telling me. They're like, look, you can climb on big things and stab them in their weak points. That's Shadow of the Colossus.
You can climb on three enemies and a whole myriad of predetermined climbing zones. Come on.
I never got into the game. I thought Aloy was a very boring character, not fun to play as. I felt the world itself was extremely empty and boring. I mean, yeah, the monster designs were cool. Mech dinosaurs is like a cool thing, but I don't know. It just never clicked with me. I always thought it was really boring. I didn't care for the story. I didn't find traveling the world was fun. And you know, I put about 10-12 hours into it, and I just could not get into the story. I hated using her little gadget thing to like find out about like the world before everything went to shit. And
I do dislike most what do you call it? Investigation things. Like, oh yeah, use your eagle sense to then walk around and look at stuff.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, because that's pretty much what it was in Horizon Zero Dawn, is use your eagle sense. And I hated when I had to do that. And I tried to get into the game and I couldn't do it. So that's a good modern example. By the way, there is a horde of ducks out on the horizon there. You can see it.
Out on the horizon, Zero Dawn.
Oh no, that was unintentional. Oh no, see, I can't escape it. And so yeah, I had a couple of friends that were like, "Yeah, it's like Shadow of the Colossus," which was a lie.
No, your friends are delusional.
Yeah, they were wrong, and I never got into the game, and obviously people have their opinions, and I'm sure somebody out there, maybe in the comments, is like, no, one hates New Vegas, and the other hates Horizon. I can't watch this channel anymore. But yeah, I couldn't get into the game, and apparently the sequel is pretty much the same, so I will not be playing the sequel.
I did enjoy that game, but I can't say I beat it.
So that's an example of a modern one. If I go back and I think about games growing up where I was just like, wow, this was a huge letdown, I think a good example would be Assassin's Creed 3. And I think because that's in due part to how much I liked the character of Ezio, and I liked his story. In my opinion, Assassin's Creed 2 will always be my favorite Assassin's Creed. It's certainly, I was just playing it recently, and obviously gameplay-wise, it hasn't aged the best. There's definitely some outdated stuff. But I think Ezio as a character and his story in 2 and in Brotherhood and a little bit in Revelations, it was kind of, you could tell by Revelations, like they definitely needed to move on.
Well, you got the Ezio collection, right? Did they do any like quality of life up, like enhancements to make it feel more modern?
Yeah, they did. So it's kind of funny. There was a little bit of a buzz when the game originally came out back 2016, 2017, where the graphics looked terrible at first. And so I don't know if you remember, but yeah, there was a lot of articles coming out like, oh, the Ezio collection looks horrible. They fixed that, and they changed up some of the running mechanics in 2, so it's a little bit more modern, which is good. I know climbing, maybe I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure climbing was done a little bit better in the collection. But regardless of that, I really liked Ezio as a character, and when they announced Assassin's Creed 3 and it was like, oh, American Revolution, and they had all these great trailers, and I specifically remember they were like, oh, like you're going to be there on these battles as they happened, and we were extremely historically accurate, and you're going to be fighting in these war zones where cannonballs are going to be landing around you, huge explosions, and we're going to introduce ships. You're going to do ship battles. You're going to go out into the ocean and fight other ships, and it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing, and you're going to be playing as this really great character who is a Native American, and he's got the Templars ruined his life, and his mom died because of the Templars, and you got to get your revenge, and it's really great. You get to meet historical figures like George Washington and Ben Franklin and all these guys, and I was hyped, and I pre-ordered the game.
This was 3?
This was 3.
Oh, I didn't realize that was 3. It's so hard for me to keep track. Oh, I'm out in the water. Oh,
finally.
No, I can't.
Oh no.
I'm sinking. I'm gone. I missed it.
The game is ruined.
And I'm back.
But yeah, I got the game, and it actually starts out pretty fascinating. If you remember, you play as Haytham Kenway, who you think he's an assassin. Listen, spoiler alerts for a decade-old game. Everyone in the comments, like, I shouldn't have to say that, but if you haven't played 3, I'm going to say some spoilers. But basically, start off of the game as playing as Haytham Kenway, and they frame it as if you're an assassin doing assassin things. But it turns out after a chapter or 2 that you're actually a Templar. You start out as a Templar, and it's this big twist, like, whoa! And then the game cuts to playing as Connor. I don't remember his Native American name, but try as I might, I did not like the character. I remember at the time I was telling a friend of ours that he sounded exactly like Anakin did in the prequels. Like, his line delivery was just really bad.
Is he the one who makes his own luck, Liam?
No, that is in Assassin's Creed Rogue. He's what's his name? I love that game. I'm trying to remember that guy. Anyway, but yeah, the line delivery for Connor in 3 was really, really bad. Shocker, Ubisoft lied, and those battles were all pretty much quick time events. Like, I remember there was one battle where you're chasing after a Templar and you're running across this field, and it's supposed to be this epic set piece of like cannonballs landing around you and gunshots like all around you, but you basically literally just hold one direction on your control stick, and you're not doing anything. You're not dodging anything. You're not pulling off cool tricks. It's just one giant QuickTime event. Again, just like the last episode, QuickTime events. And I was so let down by the game. You got to see the historical figures, and like Ben Frank, like you discovered electricity with Ben Franklin, which was kind of cool, and you were there for the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which like was cool. But like the ship battles weren't really great until 4. It wasn't until Assassin's Creed 4, the pirate one, when they finally figured out how to do good ship battles. So back in 3, like if you go back and play 3, it's not that good. Like the ship battles are very boring. And what the heck what is that?
We got a clown duck.
That is crazy. If I pause, does the game pause for you too, or no?
It does not, no. The ducks don't stop.
Okay, let me. I'm having trouble.
It's my new album.
It's E.
Ducks don't stop.
The ducks don't stop. They won't stop. Never stop stopping. But yeah, 3, I definitely was extremely disappointed by. It's not a great game. I know that they It's funny. Speaking of remasters, they remastered the game a couple years back, and people hated the remaster. I don't know what it is about Ubisoft. These remasters they do usually suck.
Ubisoft sucks.
Ubisoft just sucks. It is a terrible company. I mean, they lie. They lied about Watch Dogs. If anyone in the comments remembers the initial Watch Dog reveal, it's just a load of lies. Do you remember when they first announced Watch Dogs, how cool the trailer looked, and then how like nothing in the trailer was in the final game?
I don't remember much from the trailer, but I don't remember it actually being all that Oh, one sec, my fridge decided to make noise. I don't remember. I enjoyed that game. I know I have bad tasting games apparently.
You're really gonna get people in the comments seething and malding over this.
Yeah, no, I thought it was fun. Like I like the combat was as what I was used to with Assassin's Creed. It was kind of the same thing, but with guns now. And then there's not any cool climbing and stuff, but decent average parkour, kind of running around like. Vaulting over things and all that, but the hacking I found was fine. Like you hack the cameras, you can use that to hack other things, a string of hacking using visuals, which I thought was a little weird, but what do I know? And then the what do you call it? Like the cars, hacking the sewers to change the pressure of the pipes to blow. Like the amount of damage you cause in the city is pretty unbelievable. But since I can't say I remember much from the trailer, I don't know what I missed out on. Because even then, it wasn't fresh in my head.
So for those of you in the comments, if you want to go on YouTube and type in Watch Dogs E3 reveal trailer, you'll see like they had... it's definitely false advertising. I mean, if the game had been like what it was going to be on the E3 trailer, it would have been one of the most amazing games ever made. But there is a video online on YouTube called Ubisoft Downgrades, which details all the trailers and how different the games were on release. I know Rainbow Six Siege looked a lot different on its reveal trailer than a final game. A lot of Assassin's Creed games.
You want to know words. You want to know another nice tidbit?
Yeah, go ahead.
I played it on the Wii U.
Oh, you played the Wii U version?
And you know what? Because the gamepad let you use the gamepad. The gamepad was used as like a map. It was like your pause screen was already there. You could already do all the stuff you needed, set waypoints. It was already like that. So I didn't have to pause and do that. I could just pop in game so quickly. Like using it as the accessory it was intended to be. I'm pretty sure Watch Dogs was the only game that used it properly.
Yeah, the Wii U.
Because I didn't play that many other games on the Wii U.
The Wii U had a weird moment in time where a lot of like third-party games that were like probably shouldn't have been on the Wii U were on there. Like they put Arkham City on the Wii U gamepad on the Wii U, and it was like Arkham City like Dark Knight Edition, and they had Watch Dogs, they had Deus Ex Human Revolution on the Wii U, they had Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U, and it was just this weird stretch of like they had Assassin's Creed 3 on the Wii U. I'm pretty sure. It's just this Ubisoft and EA had this like weird stretch of time. Zombie U was a Ubisoft game, by the way.
What was it?
Yes, and
It looked like garbage, so I never got it.
No, it sucked. I got it when I first got the Wii U. The box came with New Super Mario Brothers Wii U and Zombie U, and I played Zombie U for about an hour. I was like, I'm over it. But yeah, there was a stretch of Wii U games, and I remember way back when E3 was still a thing. Jeff Keighley, Jeff Keighley did an interview with Reggie Fils-Aimé and was grilling Reggie, and you can find that video on YouTube where he's just like, why would people want to buy Arkham City on the Wii U when they could buy it on the 360? And Reggie was like, well, it's a different game. And Jeff, like, deadpan was like, it's not a different game. Straight to Reggie's face. And the Wii U is just, Wii U is a disaster. It really was a terrible console.
I think it could have been a much better console if it worked, right? If it worked properly, not the game, the console itself, but like everyone's perception of it. No, they didn't see the vision. And I think you and I have talked about this in the past, but you mentioned to me that the dev kits that were sent out were incredibly difficult to use for making games for it. So
yeah,
and everything, like all the stuff on the requirements that you needed to do to make a game were really difficult to deal with, and Nintendo was making it very hard for developers to make their games properly for the Wii U, and so it just kind of stacked up and people couldn't utilize it properly. So as games happened later, I was actually really hoping that the idea of the Wii U would, because smartphones became so much more common in that frame of time, everyone had one around that. Most people had them at that point. But companion apps for games essentially would work the same way the Wii U did, having the gamepad. But that only lasted for like 5 years, and then they just vanished. Like, you could get a GTA companion app, and I'm pretty sure they just, by recently, I mean within the past few years, shut it down. There was a companion app for Fallout 4 that you could use as your Pip-Boy. And then you would be able to, it was exactly that. It was everything the Wii U would have been for your Pip-Boy right then and there. And I don't know if that's even supported anymore, or if that was only supported on certain consoles. I don't think I could even use it on my computer for Fallout 4, and I don't think they even bothered trying that for 76. It might not even be able to find it on the store, to be honest.
Well, the frustrating thing about the Wii U, so they actually had a year in advance. They actually, their console came out a year before the Xbox One and the PS4 came out. So they had a year to put their best foot forward and, you know, bring out the games and really market their console without any competition. And all they had that first year, first party wise, was Super Mario 3D World and New Super Mario Brothers U. That was it. There was no Zelda. I mean, there was no new Zelda on that console until the end of its life cycle. Breath of the Wild, like,
yeah,
they did an HD re-release of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, but I'm not counting that as a new Zelda.
Of course, yeah. And same thing, like Super Mario Kart 8 was another dual release at the end of its life cycle. Or I don't know if it was a dual release, but they essentially just said, nah, yeah, forget this one, get it on the Switch.
Yeah, there was Super Mario. It was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch. At that point, like the Wii version was obsolete. But yeah, and then there was only one Star Fox game on the Wii U, Star Fox Zero, which was terrible and awful in every way. There was no Metroid Prime or Metroid games in general on the Wii U. Cap Falcon and F-Zero is just dead. I think there was like one 3D Pokemon game on the Wii U, but and the 3DS was still going, so their Pokemon games are on the 3DS. But
was there a 3D Pokemon game?
I think it was like a Pokemon fighting game,
like Arena
yeah, you know
or
what
whatever.
It was? You know what it was? It was like Pokemon Tekken, I think it was called.
Oh, Pokken,
yeah,
Pokken Tournament
that
or
was
something like that.
Yeah, that was on the Wii U.
Was that? I thought that was a Switch release.
I think like many Wii U
yeah,
games.
like half the library.
of course, there was like I think Bayonetta 2, which is an amazing game, was on the Wii U originally. Captain Toad came on the Wii U, but I mean, how many people are clamoring for Captain Toad? And then that's really all I can think of in terms of big titles. So I mean, the Wii U really dropped the ball. And the thing too, and this is the same case for the Switch. For some reason, Nintendo likes to lag behind people when it comes to their hardware. Like, there are legitimately iPhones that have more processing power than a Nintendo Switch right now. And Nintendo just needs to get their head out of their ass and come up with a console that's actually like updated hardware, updated processing power, updated graphics, instead of being 1 or 2 generations behind. It's just absurd. I mean, I've seen footage of Tears of the Kingdom running on the Switch, and it runs so bad.
Which, you know, it's pretty amazing, I'll admit, how well it runs at all on the Switch, because it's significantly more complex than Breath of the Wild was. Breath of the Wild is like, oh, look, you gotta load the terrain. But this one is like, you gotta calculate the physics occurring on every piece of stuff that you mush together. Like, you have a stone slab, and you give it a wooden arm, right? Like another piece of wood next to it. Now it has to calculate the weight, the buoyancy, and I think they actually calculate maybe a little bit the wind resistance. That might not be true, but I feel like it is. At least it has a resistance when in the water. If you put like what do you call them? Like wooden slats on a wheel, it becomes a paddle boat. So it propels based on that. And that's all being calculated when you do these things. When you're putting them together, once you turn it on, when they stop, it has to undo it, you know? It has to say, stop doing that. And now it has more trajectory information that it has to deal with. All of that wasn't there before. The most you got was your horse, and then with that DLC, the motorcycle, that made it so that you couldn't play the game because it couldn't load fast enough.
Yeah, that motorcycle was a bad idea. The game was not made to go that fast, and man, I don't even think, you know what's funny too? I'm pretty sure they did not even put that motorcycle on the Wii U version.
If they wanted it to run, probably not. I'll admit though, the one of the most impressive things on the Tears of the Kingdom in the game, I guess, is the loading of the depths is just the amount of time it takes for you to go from the overworld to that underworld. Like, you just jump through that hole, and you can even speed up your movement, probably at the expense of frames. And it will still load surprisingly quickly for having an entirely new topography and amount of details, especially after you light up the whole place. As if you don't know, in Tears of the Kingdom, the depths are an entire underworld the same size as Hyrule. And
that's incredible.
It's amazing. They literally doubled the size of the map and then some by adding the sky. And of course, the sky's not nearly as big as far as things that you do in it, but it's still a lot more map, and adding the additional dungeons that you do with each main objective, like the water temple, like those things, and then having these smaller dungeons around. The only thing that would have made it any cooler would have been in the shrines, because when you open the shrine, it creates this window and you walk through it. It would have been so much cooler, and of course it would have been a monumental task for them to make it so that you could walk through this window into the next room flawlessly. That would take a hell of a lot more optimization on their part. But what they have achieved in Tears of the Kingdom on their Switch hardware, which, as we know, is at least a generation behind everything else, is still incredible. And in Tears of the Kingdom, being more technically advanced than Breath of the Wild, if only they could apply all of those upgrades to Breath of the Wild to make it that much more efficient. Would have been amazing. A quick little aside there.
No, you're right on that, but I think just kind of thinking back to the Wii U again, I mean, it's just a letdown of a console. I mean, that's really the best way to describe it, is absolute letdown. And even Nintendo acknowledges nowadays how much of a letdown it was. And I think after the success of the Wii, which, I like the Wii, but the main draw is a gimmicky control with fake motion controls. Let's be honest. And I think they were trying to trend chase again with the Wii U, and like, well, what if we could have a little gamepad that is also a TV remote, and you can like stand up, and you don't have to be, you're not restrained to a corded controller.
I mean, that Nintendo's whole thing is innovation. They haven't made an identical console since the SNES.
Well, I mean, you could argue that the Wii U is almost the same as the Wii. I mean, literally, the name is Wii U. And what was different was they added a gamepad that nobody liked.
Well, I would say it is different. They kept all the same things that the Wii had, and then they added more to it, right? So yeah, let's start from the beginning, right? You got we'll skip the NES because it was basic controller, 2 buttons or 4 buttons, I don't remember, and then you got the SNES, largely a similar controller but with more buttons. I think the NES was just 2. I have a belt buckle. I'm not going to bother. 2 buttons, the D-pad, start, select. Then you have the SNES. You got 4 buttons. And did that one have the trigger, the bumpers?
Which one? The SNES? Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they added 4 more buttons to the whole thing. Cool. That's a big improvement, big change. It allows a lot more for developers to do things, right? Mm-hmm. And then that was the N64 after that, right? N64, you got that weird controller. That's them saying, look, it's a different controller. It's weird. It can do more, though, too. Because you got the thumbstick, and you got the D-pad, and you got these C buttons, and you got A and B. Now we got the Z, and then the right and the left. Like, you got so many buttons everywhere. Okay, that's a lot. But moving forward, now you have something more streamlined. You got the GameCube, right? And everyone was still working on what the ideal controller should be. So it came to that similar shape. You've got the C stick instead of C buttons. You got the main thumbstick as well on the left. You got the triggers and the single right bumper for the Z button, because they're kind of keeping the same general structure of how many inputs their controller has. And then Xbox is like, yeah, we've got those things too, but instead of 1 extra button like the Z button, we got 2 extra buttons, the black and the white button that just sit in the corner of the controller. So you've got A, X, B, Y, and then black and white on the bottom right of that. I think that's where it was located. And of course, you could also get third-party controllers that put the black and white buttons as bumpers before the 360 even did that. And PlayStation was like, yeah, we're just going to stick to what we've been doing because we've been doing that. And, it's worked out pretty well for them. Though Xbox, I think, has won the ergonomic controller thing. Sony, I think, has won the development and innovation controller. But anyway, back to Nintendo, right? They're still messing around. They're like, okay, GameCube, yeah, everybody else came with the same thing. That's not cool, so we're going to change it up a little bit. Who needs one controller when you can have a controller and a controller that plugs into that controller?
Whoa!
And this controller has less buttons and inputs in general, but it has motion controls, and those motion controls make up for the buttons, except they're kind of wonky. So then they released the Motion Plus adapter. Just plug this in for more control. It's a little unnecessary, but I
never understood.
They had a whole thing for that for the N64.
Did that actually make a difference? The little Motion Plus add-on, was it actually did that really matter?
I don't know how much it mattered for games that didn't need it, but for games that did need it, you didn't even get the option to use the other controller. They're like, you need a Wii Motion Plus. If you don't use the Wii Motion Plus either controller or controller adapter, then we're not going to let you use it. It just didn't work.
Maybe someone in the comments can comment on that, because I still to this day struggle to understand what the point of the Motion Plus was, because it just seems like nothing was changed.
I think it was just because before they had, it was just, I think, just directional swiping, right? Maybe the Plus attachment and the Plus controller had the gyroscope, but I can't say for sure, because I know on the Wii you can rotate the hand that you use as your cursor. I don't know if you could do that on the original controllers. I never had them, so I wouldn't know. And they moved from that. They're like, okay, so we got our controllers, we got the Plus, we got the nunchuck, we've got this whole wacky load of garbage that we're saying this is not a game console, but this is a family system that anyone can use. And that's their main selling point. And so the Wii U, they're like, no, we need to revolutionize gaming. So make their controller a touchscreen and a controller. And it was a cool idea, but it didn't work, as we have just discussed. And then the Switch was like, well, because they had their DS, right? I kind of skipped all their handhelds. The DS already had that, and I think they wanted to add that, but on a bigger scale. I think they wanted to make it the AAA experience, like AAA titles now do this, and that makes us that much cooler. But their hardware is weak already, and so adding two, like, not only do you have to play the game at the same time, you have this other thing playing an entirely different set of functions. It means it needs that much more processing power. And I don't know how much the what's it called? I just said it.
Processing power?
The controller, the gamepad.
Oh, Joy-Cons.
But no, not the Joy-Cons. It's still the gamepad. I don't know how much processing power the gamepad itself had in order to assist the Wii U's base processing power. So maybe it wasn't that big of a difference. I guess I don't know. But then moving to the Switch, they're like, okay, we've done the touchscreen. Let's keep the touchscreen, but let's not make a different screen for it. Let's just make it so that the controllers, the gyroscope, all of that is in the touchscreen, in the controllers for, I don't know, super accuracy. And so forget making the Wii necessary. Your two controllers split off as individual controllers. You got the nunchuck already. No need for plugging them all in. All that stuff. They kind of just cut out the middleman pieces from the Wii and the Wii U. So really, the Switch is an upgrade to the GameCube. And they skipped all the bananas in between.
But then you also got to take into the fact that the Joy-Cons suck as a controller, and they have that very common problem of they start drifting. Remember the Joy-Con drift?
Yeah, the Joy-Con Tokyo drift is a ridiculous issue. I'm lucky that I never had that issue, and continue, I guess, to not have that issue.
What's great is that Nintendo acknowledged it and basically was like, yeah, we're not going to do anything about it. Deal with it.
Yeah. Oh, also, I was going to mention this when I was talking about the Wii U's. They had the regular Pro controller, so you didn't even need to use their Wii controllers beforehand. You could use the gamepad and you can use the regular controller because they were, trying to get the gamers.
Those hardcore gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think now would be a good time to do a head count on all the ducks we've gathered since last time.
Okay. Since last time?
I have lost track. I'm trying to find where yours is with the tab button.
I think we've got 32 ducks. If you hover over the duck fill icon, it gives you a number, and I think that's what that number is.
Oh, well, since you went last time, I'll go ahead and I'm going to head count the ducks, starting with your little submarine duck in the corner, struggling to live in this cruel world.
I have no idea where that
yours
is.
It's on the concrete right behind the flamingo.
Oh, okay.
We've got a Russia nesting doll duck, and I actually think this is the chameleon. Yeah, this is the chameleon duck that's faking till he makes it. So I see your tricks, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Then after that, we've got the plaid duck, which is got on fire again. It actually was put out. I don't know if you saw that. You got a little.
I did.
I
get
got
the
achievement
notification.
Yeah, so it's on fire again. It's just the life that it's forced to live, being on fire. Then we've got tiger duck. He will never financially recover from this.
Absolutely not.
You've got Disco Duck, aka Moi, looking as flashy as ever.
Well, you're not a disco duck. You're just like a crystallized duck. You're a geode.
I'm a geode. I'm a geoduck. We've got the Stinky Mallard Duck from earlier. Donut Duck, looking like the Homer Simpson pink frosting duck. The Cat Duck just slid down the slide. The real Russian nesting duck, right next to the chameleon, who just turned into the tomato duck. I saw you.
I'm pretty sure that's a strawberry.
Is that? I thought it was a tomato.
It's got little seeds on the outside.
It does?
Yeah.
Oh, it does. See, the chameleon duck doesn't have the seeds, though, so it does legitimately look like a tomato.
You can barely see them. They blend into its texture.
And then there is the clown duck. Then there is another. Oh my goodness! There's several Russian nesting ducks in this pool, and I've just noticed each one gets smaller and smaller. That's great.
I guess that's appropriate.
I don't even know. Like, this is a purple shiny
metal?
duck. Yeah. Then we've got the stone duck. Sank straight to the bottom as soon as it landed in the pool.
Oh, I think that's how you get the golf ball achievement, is by zooming right next to where the golf ball is.
And then, I did not know that. That's actually really cool. Then there is the crossword duck. And actually, it's kind of funny. It's shaking violently. I can't look at the things, but it says Discord in the front. It also says Pecorin. Pecorino. There's also Tonfo. Trin something. And then the optical PPDS. Placid
Plastic
Duck Simulator.
GG.
Oh, GG. Oh, that one. Oh, this is cool.
Oh, I double tapped.
There is a... Oh, it makes an electric noise, too. What are these called?
A Tesla ball.
A Tesla ball duck. That is awesome. That's my favorite one so far.
Is that one new?
I think so, yeah.
Oh.
And then here's the watermelon duck from earlier. The 8-ball duck. 80s big head Jimmy Neutron looking duck.
If only had the hair.
Exactly. The bull duck. Cheese duck or moon duck. The sad duck. The around the world in 80 days postage duck. The paper mache cut here to make a duck one. The actual strawberry duck, which looking closer, it is a strawberry. You are correct. Agent Smith duck. Optical illusion duck. Disco duck. And we got a whole bunch here. We got birthday duck.
Oh, that's all right. I was like, where did the birthday duck doesn't make that sound?
No, sorry, the Christmas sweater duck. Last Christmas, I gave you my duck. The very next day, you cracked it away. And the duck cracker. Dirt duck.
Dirty ducking.
Nacho duck bray. Dirty ducking. And then we're back to you.
Chilling in a different corner now. Oh no, same corner.
And that's all the ducks we've gotten. And you said if you hover over the duck with your mouse, yeah, we're at 33.
Yeah, moved up to 33 with the Tesla duck, right?
Yes, very nice, very very nice.
Wow. Well, we pretty much just tore apart Nintendo this time.
Yeah, this is the F Nintendo podcast. Listen, if you're a Nintendo fan, look, put down the Soylent and go outside.
I don't know how that. Oh, you know what? No, I also we're talking about how I'm gonna get canceled by the gamer community. You know,
yeah, you're gonna get
the most oppressed
canceled.
Community.
Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna get canceled for pissing off the gamers, the most oppressed minority group in the world, and then I'm gonna get canceled for calling Nintendo gamers soy boys. So it's been fun. It's been a fun ride. This podcast, you know, fortunately, It's over. It's all over. I'll see you guys. So.
Yeah, you know, we made it thus far, and you know, we think it's a good point to just call it quits.
I will post a lengthy Twitter apology in a day or so.
You know. See, if you post an apology, you're admitting to guilt.
Well, then I'm just gonna ride off into the sunset.
Well, I guess you have that right. Maybe next time we'll talk about anime or something. Who knows?
Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of the Placid Plastic Podcast. Say
Absolutely.
that 5 times fast, and I'll give you $1 on Venmo. Take it away, Lucas.
Yeah, if you want, he'll that's him alone. I'm not paying anybody nothing. I don't even have 1,000 subscribers. If I get 1,000 subscribers and I can afford to pay someone, maybe I will. But well, yeah, no, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Placid Plastic Podcast, hosted by myself and David. Hopefully
yes,
we will be able to, we won't get absolutely canceled into oblivion, and we'll be able to keep this up. I hope you guys enjoy this. I really am disappointed to find that we can't get the flamingo over the course of one episode, and that it resets every time we start over. So that's a bit unfortunate, but I'll attach the same clip that I'm going to do for the last one of the flamingo, so you can see it in action. Hopefully in one of the patches, because this is still under development, the multiplayer being a what do you call it? A beta feature, that the location, the progress of the flamingo will stay consistent between runs, but not even the ducks stay consistent. They respawn every time, so who knows if we'll ever get it in. Words, phrasing, gosh.
Good thing is we can edit all this so that they never know.
We'll see about that. But anyway, like I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more of this or any of my own content that I edit as, Whiskey's editor. That's who I am. Hit like, subscribe.
Mash that like button.
Ring
the bell.
Smash that bell like button.
Oh, just break your mouse smashing that like button, and then send us a video of you breaking your mouse smashing that like button. Thank you.
Is there still a bell?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh. See, I've never used it because the last thing I want is more notifications of anything ever. And yet I actually get notifications on my YouTube channel, of releases, and I don't know why. I don't hit bells. I don't do anything like that. Ridiculous.
Well, listen, Mr. YouTuber, you got to get on top of your game.
You know what? If it's anything like my Twitch career, I'll do something else completely differently and not realize that it's different because I never would have thought about doing something like that.
Oh, jeez. Well, good night, everybody. Have a quacking good day.
Have a quacking good time. Oh, wait. We got one duck in like a split second.
Okay, hold on. Let's see who it is. Oh, I hope it's good. Give me the duck. Give it to me.
I'm running out of breath. And there it is.
Oh, it's just a plain old yellow.
Oh.
Turn off the stream.
No. He's a victim. He's got band-aids. He's been stabbed before.
Oh no, a creepy pasta duck. Where is it? Let me zoom in. Oh, he's got a little boo-boo on his forehead.
Yeah.
And looking at the band-aid, got little creepy, freaky critters on it. All right.
But that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.